Controversial Dodgers gondola project takes one step forward tonight after a boisterous public meeting held today. Fox 11's Laura D is here with a view from both sides. Laura?
A lot of people had a lot to say, Christine. The project still has a long way to go until it becomes a reality, but this was a big step forward. The Metro Board certified a court-ordered 400-page environmental impact report. It happened despite a loud, passionate group of opponents at today's meeting. Opponents chanted and carried signs that read "Stop the Gondola" at a packed LA Metro headquarters Thursday afternoon. At issue is a proposed Dodger Stadium gondola that would connect Union Station to Dodger Stadium in a 7-minute tram ride. Its proponents, including the developer and former Dodgers owner Frank McCourt, say it will reduce traffic around Dodger Stadium. For some, the gondola sounds like a lifeline.
I live close to Dodger Stadium. So for me, I'm agreed to build the gondola because we have a lot. When we have a game, we have a lot of traffic, and the streets are very crowded. So I agree about the gondola.
Dodger gondola protest erupts with the LA City Council to, because they approved basically the gondola from Union Station to Dodger Stadium. If you're not from LA, the closest station as far as train station is Union Station to get to Dodger Stadium. People don't understand. If you go to a Dodger game, you understand this. Parking, traffic, it's terrible. So this is a project that they're creating gondolas. What is a gondola? If you've ever been to like a snowboarding place or a ski resort, those big things that you step in and you ride up on this little wire, that's a gondola. I think it's pretty cool. I don't see why people would go against it, but we know some people are up against it. But I think this is a really good idea because it reduces traffic. Some people think that it's going to raise the rents in the neighborhood because we have this gondola in that neighborhood. You have like little Chinatown, downtown LA. It's always going to be expensive anyways. It's LA. But some people were erupting and upset about this vote, and it got approved. But I don't see a problem with it. I think it is going to reduce traffic. I think the problem that people do have about this is that it's not publicly funded. It's privately funded. So what does that mean? These people are going to have to pay for this, right? You're going to have to pay to use this, and it's going to make a lot of money, and people don't like that because they're not a part of it. So I don't really understand the protests, doing more and more research on this. People, like what I'm looking at, it says people that are against this they say environmental, neighborhood impact, and green space loss because the route passes over adjacent to State Historic Park. But it's a gondola. It's going over the top. I actually like the gondola because it's going over the top of everything, so it's not disrupting anything. It's not like we're building a brand new train that have to go through these neighborhoods. I think the protesters got this one wrong. They're complaining about the noise and construction disruption and lack of proper mitigation. Look, man, if you live in LA, there's construction everywhere. There's construction on the 405, the 101, the 10, the 5, construction everywhere. There's constant construction in LA. Like I said, I think that the protesters got this one wrong. I think building this, especially for the LA traffic to not have that whole area. Like I said, if you ever go to a Dodgers game or just watch a Dodger game afterwards, the 101 is always going to be crowded. Done. It's because people are leaving the stadium. Sometimes it'll take people like 3 to 4 hours to leave Dodger Stadium, just to leave the stadium because of where it's at. So if I can hop on a tram and then be able to have my car parked over there, that's cool. I'll pay for that. I would rather pay for that than trying to pay for parking at Dodger Stadium, which is incredibly expensive. See what I'm saying? So I think this is really good for people. It gives people a better chance to go to the game and a better experience. I don't really see why people would get upset about this. They said gentrification and displacement, but if you ever been to Union Station, there's houses in like Boyle Heights, there's houses in other areas, but around Union Station is really downtown atmosphere. You got the post office there. You got, there's really no houses. You do got the prison, the county jail. So I don't understand. I think the protesters got this one wrong. It doesn't really make any sense. I just think that they're mad that it's privately funded. It's just something else that a billionaire is going to make money. But this is what we're in. We're in the place of business. And that it's crazy that they're also saying, I'm looking at my notes here, they say there's doubt about traffic relief. It's going to be a huge traffic relief because if you can just park at Union Station, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some parking structures there. You know they're going to build all that up so you can park there. I think that's going to be way better to get that traffic away from Dodger Stadium. I'm just saying, even if you went to any baseball game or any event, imagine going there, but then in Dodger Stadium is only really one way you can get out. It's really one freeway you can take. There's no alternate routes. If you're parked at Union Station, you definitely can hit a bunch of other things. So I just think that they got this one wrong. But let's watch some more about this.
Thursday's meeting, opponents seemed like the majority, filling the sometimes contentious meeting. The LA City Council recently passed a resolution opposing the project, citing construction noise, damage to parks, and hurting low-income neighborhoods. Councilwoman Eunices Hernandez, who has been vocal in her opposition, was among those who spoke during public comment.
The gondola is a private, unfunded, unsolicited billionaire's vanity project masquerading as public transit.
Nobody needs a free ride to an empty stadium just to look down into my own backyard.
We're one step closer to giving away publicly owned land, the parkland, city-owned land by Union Station to a real estate mogul from Massachusetts.
The project still has to be approved by the California State Parks and Recreation Commission, Caltrans, the Federal Highway Administration, and the City of LA. Construction cannot begin until all agencies sign off. So, Christine, there's still a long way to go.
Still a long way to go. People have spoken. I do understand what the lady could be saying if this gondola is going over your neighborhood and they're looking down. That could be a privacy issue. That can make sense. And if they are using some of the city land that's historic and they're turning that into this opportunity to be able to build, I understand that as well. But we have to look at it as far as the thing of why not build this? What else will we do with that land? You see what I'm saying? If you've ever been to LA, and all my LA people know I'm from Long Beach, but I lived in downtown LA. We know that the area down there to do anything, there's not really space to do anything. So when everything gets used up, they're going to start looking at state land. They're going to start looking at historic land because they're going to be more in favor of building these things. And yes, a billionaire will be making money, of course. But I just think that one of these things, it's going to take a while to get this done. But I just don't agree with the protesters on this one. I think it's good for traffic. I think it's good for, getting cars out of there, getting all those people from the stadium. And I think it could be a good thing for LA. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. As always, you can keep this thing rocking. Appreciate you guys.